I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the 10-house gate. All those moments will be lost in time. Like tears in rain. Time to die. And here we go.
It's the comic book bullies.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
It's the comic book bullies.
You will run out before me!
It's the comic book bullies.
Now I am the master.
It's the comic book bullies. It's the comic book bullies. Welcome back to the Comic Book Bullies. We're Nerd is a New Bully. I'm your host Leroy with my co-host.
This is Eli, the Bear Jew.
The Bear 132nd Jew. Oh, well. I will come up with a fancy nickname. I can't think of something. I'm Leroy.
White boy Leroy.
Okay, yeah. The secret is out. All right, yeah, so we got a brand new episode. Like I said, we went an epic episode last time because we had so much to catch up on because we had been gone for such a long time. And now we got some new stuff coming out. We're going to keep it light. We're actually going to keep it comic-centric this time. So I know a lot of you don't give a shit about that, but we're going to try to make it as interesting as possible. But before we jump into that, we do have to pay our respects. We have to pay our respects to the OG. Like I said, we haven't had a lot of celebrity deaths this year, not as much as it was in last year, but we have some. Yeah. And this one we do have to pay our respects to Rutger Hauer, who is a like if you've seen any kind of sci-fi or action movie in the 80s, he was in there, horror or whatever, he was in there.
Yeah, we had a good run, but for a while, but bam, this one's a biggie. This one hurts.
Yeah, so. Had some iconic roles too,
Mm-hmm.
Most known role, I guess his most famous role, you would say Blade Runner, wouldn't you?
Yeah, Roy Batty, Blade Runner, The Hitcher.
Mm-hmm.
I loved him in a movie called Wanted, Dead or Alive.
Okay, now what was that about?
He was a bounty hunter. It was like, it was the 80s where, we needed a new Rambo or a Commando. They wanted the male act, another Chuck Norris, another Sylvester
He had a run.
Yeah. Well, he was always playing the bad guy, but this was the movie where he was the hero.
Right.
And he's basically a bounty hunter, and he's after an Arab terrorist, played by Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Okay.
It was
around that time, anybody could be in an action movie around that time.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was that. So I highly recommend that. That's a good hidden gem if you've never seen.
Wanted, that's Dead or Alive. Wanted, Dead or Alive was around that time. He was like they were trying to push him as an action hero. I'm gonna throw another one at you. Blind Fury.
Oh yeah, yes.
Blind Fury was fucking awesome. That was Rutger Hauer. He was a blind samurai or some shit, chopping up people and shit.
He was like a white Zatoichi. It's basically
what it was, So but he was fucking awesome in the roles. So there was so he had all these iconic roles. He was in Sin City,
That's right.
A brief role, but he was in there. He was the one of the preachers. How do you live with that whore or some shit, and then Mickey Rourke beat the shit out of him or something,
Yeah.
Anyway, any role he's in, he's always awesome. And honestly, he's been in so many roles. You'll see him in a movie, you forget he was in it because he just becomes that character. So it got to make you think oh, that's that's Rutger Hauer. He was in that movie. Oh, he was in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
He was in so many roles. Now here's my thing about Rutger Hauer. Okay, so here's why Rutger Hauer has such an impact on me. And when I mention it to everybody else, then you can be like, oh, he's an impact on me too. Okay, so remember his character from Blade Runner, right?
Yeah.
Okay, have you ever played Tekken?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about
Brian Fury. Okay, so I hadn't seen. I played Tekken first. Like I said, Tekken is my religion. I keep saying this over and over again. So when I'm playing Tekken and Brian Fury, that was my main on the game. For those that don't know what main means on fighting games, I get to the video game section, not here. That's when we get deeper into the geek shit. So I was maining Brian Fury. That's my guy, beating the shit out of people. So I'm watching Blade Runner, watching Rutger Hauer play that cyborg white haired dude. I'm like, hey, that's Brian Fury. And not knowing that that's the inspiration from it, where it all came from. So,
yeah.
Oh, fuck. It just hit me. Okay. Brian Fury, right?
Yeah.
Blind Fury.
There you go, dude.
Fuck. Oh,
Rutger Hauer never wore snakeskin pants down.
I mean, that's true.
Actually, maybe.
I imagine he could pull it off.
Yeah. But did you ever see Nighthawks?
I didn't see that.
Sylvester Stallone and Billy D. Williams. They're cops in New York, and Rutger Hauer is another terrorist, like blowing up shit in New York, and it's dope. That's like it's early '80s. It's right before Rambo. Well, he did Rambo. It was before First Blood. It was like he was coming out of Rocky and shit.
Okay.
And Sylvester Stallone played. He's a cop. It's dope. Nighthawks. That's another highly recommended movie for classic '80s action shit, senseless violence, and all that cool shit that
the
we
shit
love.
You can't make nowadays.
Yeah, you can't do this shit anymore. And Hobo with the Shotgun. We forgot about
Hobo with the Shotgun.
Even
that's
later on in
that's
life.
Like one of his more recent ones, right?
Yeah, he was able to make he was the Hobo with the Shotgun, which was an ode to like '80s action, exploitation flicks and
right,
shit.
one of those throwbacks you could put in there.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, Rutger Hauer. You will always be Brian Fury to me. So. Can we move on to the box office numbers now?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's jump into this bad boy. Like I said, really not too much movement on there. Eli, give it to me. What's the number one movie of the week?
Is it Toy Story again?
It wasn't Toy Story last time.
Oh, what's the other Disney shit out?
It was like
a Disney movie. Whatever Disney movie's out.
No matter what it is, it's always going to be a Disney movie.
It's a Disney, whatever Disney shit's out.
Whatever Disney shit out, that's number one. That's a constant. Death, taxes, Disney movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lion King is number one, and in the second week,
Lion King. That's what it is.
Yeah, it did 75 million.
Yeah.
This is insane. People.
What the fuck, man?
People seem to hate the movie. I'm seeing people.
I know. People are like, the lions look too real. Like, so you wanted a fucking cartoon? Like,
right. But it sounds like they did. But they're like, they don't care. They're going to see the movie anyway.
Yeah, like, what the hell, man? I don't know.
People complain. It's like Disney owns you. You can complain all you want to. It doesn't matter. Disney owns you. And so, number two, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay. Yeah, I saw
Eli,
it.
you saw this. I know you did. I'm going to give you a chance to double back to this, but we're just going to keep going down the road and see what we have here. Okay, so we also have Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, that's number
not
three.
bad.
Let's drop some news on Spider-Man Far From Home right there. So, Spider-Man Far From Home is the first Spider-Man movie to hit gross over $1 billion.
Really?
Yeah, it's the first movie ever to gross over $1 billion. So, and what I'm hearing, that I don't know how true this is, like I said, you got those bullshit cosmicnews.com and wegotitcovered.com. So take this news with a grain of salt. But what I'm hearing is that Sony and Disney's deal pretty much guaranteed basically Sony said that Disney had to make $1 billion on the second Spider-Man movie, otherwise they were going to take the rights back. But
oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Because now that Disney has, Sony got their movies up and running, like Venom and Spider-Verse and Silver and Black and all this bullshit and Morbius. Now they got their universe up and running. They feel confident that they can take it back. But now that Disney has done $1 billion and their movies have never done $1 billion before, they're like, okay, well, we got to keep playing ball. So basically, it's going to be like if it failed to hit $1 billion, they were going to take it back. It was never going to be a Spider-Man 3.
Okay.
But like I said, take that news with a grain of salt. All hearsay and rumors and whatnot. But here's the funny thing. Guess what the lowest grossing Spider-Man movie is?
to the Spider-Verse? I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, that's sad.
That's kind of fucked up.
I think we discussed this before.
I think we did, but I mean,
Yeah.
but the numbers weren't solidified at the time yet. But now we can actually sit there and talk about it. That wow, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which may be the best Spider-Man movie, is the lowest grossing Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, that's too bad.
It's bad, man.
It is.
Number 4, we have Toy Story. Number 5, Crawl, which you gave a 6.5 out of 5 last week. We have number 6 yesterday, that Beatles movie. Number 7, Aladdin, another live action Disney movie. Number 8, Stuber. Yeah, number 8. Hey, both of those guys in the MCU. That's pretty interesting. Okay. Sidebar. Number 9, Annabelle Comes Home. Still cranking movies out. Number 10, The Farewell. Okay. And it's interesting. Number 11, Secret Life of Pets 2, and number 12, Avengers Endgame. What the? Okay. Still in there, even though Avengers Endgame comes out on digital next week. So it's there. I do want to briefly talk about Avengers Endgame real quick, because did you see the deleted scene?
I saw it where Stark dies or whatever, and everyone's kneeling. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Even though they're showing it in the trailer, fucking he died with Infinity Gauntlet in his hand. So yeah, and people basically what the for those that haven't seen the deleted scene and to be on the Blu-ray or the direct DVD or whatever, Stark dies, and for a minute everybody just kneels in front of him, to pay their respects. People are pissed. They're like, why couldn't that scene be in the movie? It's already a 3-hour fucking movie. They got to cut something. No telling what else they cut in the movie, so they had to cut something. But here's the thing, Eli, you got other people that are pissed that the scene even exists, that even saw the scene, and you know why. Okay, so you got a bunch of people kneeling.
It's not Woken. Well, who's the first one to kneel? Black Panther?
The first person to kneel ever is
Black Panther.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Who are you saying?
I thought it was Black Panther. I said Black Panther.
Did Black Panther kneel? He didn't kneel. Oh, I know what you're saying. I didn't see who. That would be fucked up if Black Panther was the first one to kneel.
I don't know what to be pissed off anymore.
Everybody's pissed at something. If what happened,
so hard
what
to be
you
woke
said
these days,
happened,
man.
that would make people even more pissed if both of what we said happened. So basically, because people kneel, they said it reminded them too much of Colin Kaepernick.
Oh, that's why. Oh.
Yeah. So that got them
So
pissed.
did Black Panther kneel first?
I don't know. I gotta watch it again. Now you got me curious, because if Black Panther was the first one to kneel, I'm like, oh, they did this shit on purpose. Oh man, but I can't see Black Panther kneeling for Tony Stark in the first place anyway.
I thought you were gonna say, oh, they got pissed off because Gamora didn't kneel or some shit.
Fucking far right. But she just left. That's her thing. So they've kind of explained where Gamora went, even though they said at the end of the movie where she went anyway, she disappeared. She didn't kneel. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so people are pissed because they think they were making a political statement. If you follow any of the Marvel actors' Twitter feed, they're super far left. All of them. Don Cheadle, Chris Evans, doesn't matter. So you can almost say this probably wasn't, it probably was intentional. And probably the Russos were like, hey, maybe this is going a little bit too far. Let's just cut this shit and be done with it. We don't want to make it too political.
What? I found the scene very moving. I almost, when I watched it, I got a little lump in my throat. I was like, holy shit, is this going to make me fucking, sad all over again?
Here's my thing.
And then, I can't keep up with, I'm so woke that I'm getting tired, man. I need to sleep. I need a nap, man.
Because no matter what you do, somebody will get pissed off about something.
Yeah, man.
You can't make a move. You can't do anything. Now, me personally, the scene, all the politics bullshit aside, I'm glad they cut it. It didn't need to be. It's just like you said. It's a little bit too moving, a little bit too emotional, and it's cool. But at the same time, you don't want Tony Stark's death to hit you that hard. Because what they did, and I noticed this, the musical cue that was playing when Tony Stark died, they left that in the movie. The only difference was instead of everybody kneeling, you had Tony Stark giving his own eulogy. saying that life moves on, everything's happened. I'm just glad my family's safe. So yeah, he still died, and you still. So instead of you being mourning over his death, you're celebrating his life because he's giving his own eulogy. He's creating his own narrative, which I think that's a better move than everybody just sitting there being somber and sad over Tony Stark. Me personally, So I think the route that they went in the theatrical version was the route that it should have went.
Yeah.
Me personally. So. Now,
No, it was fun. Like I understand why they cut it because it was too long and it was redundant and it would have took away from the funeral scene where they do pay tribute to him with all the characters and shit.
Right. So no reason to do that over again and draw it out even longer than what it is.
Yeah, so I thought it was a good call, but it was a nice little nugget for fans to chew on. Like, oh, this is what But yeah. You didn't need to fucking, crucify anybody for it, though.
Right.
They cut it out of the movie, assholes.
Right. Oh, man.
Chill the fuck out.
So, now, that being said, you saw a movie.
I did.
Okay. I have honestly really no idea what this movie is about. This movie
and
is
it's better if you don't. If you go in not knowing.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you. First off, let's say the movie what you saw.
Okay.
Okay, you saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and some chick. I don't know. You probably. I'm pretty sure you know who it is. But take it away, Eli. What do you think about the movie?
Okay, well, it's Quentin Tarantino's new movie.
And his last.
Oh well,
every movie is his last.
Well, he's debating on making the Star Trek movie what might be his last. He wants to make 10 movies. This is his 9th one, and yeah. So, well, first off, I'm a fan of movies. I'm a fan of cinema. I'm a fan of going to movies, and I'm a fan of Quentin Tarantino. His movies are like events. Like, oh shit! So there's excitement when he makes a movie. So I went into this not knowing the story, but a little familiar. I mean, I think it pays to know the background of the story.
That's what I'm curious about. You saying you're familiar with it. Now, how did you get familiar with the story?
Well, it takes place around the Manson murders. Mm-hmm. The Manson family, Charles Manson and his cult and the murders that he killed Sharon Tate and another family. They went on this murder spree in L.A. in Hollywood, this psycho hippie cult. If you're familiar with the Manson murders, so if you know about that does cause more tension. That makes this movie a little more intense, So, but other than that, the movie is just about an aging movie star who's past his prime and his stunt double, and they have this sort of symbiotic relationship, where he's a stunt double. He gets work if the actor gets work. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he's reached it's after his prime. He's not getting the roles that he used to. He's not playing the good. He was basically a Western hero, a cowboy hero during the 50s and 60s, and now this is 1969.
And the Westerns are dying out.
And Westerns are dying out. Where America, the culture is shifting. Times are changing. America, this is no longer the 50s where it's after the World War II. America was all fuck yeah, we're the best nation on earth. The cowboy cowboy heroes were the shit in the 50s. It was all about America being badass and conquering the West. Cowboys versus Indians. We're the baddest nation on the planet. Well, now here we go. We enter the 60s. There's civil rights. There's women's lib. There's the Vietnam. You have assassinations of JFK, Martin Luther King, there's a very
Nixon being a crook in office.
Yes, Watergate. So there was this change in the culture, and there was a less need for the cowboy heroes on TV and in the movies. And this actor, Leo DiCaprio's character, Rick Dalton is his name. He is starting to feel the pressures of that. He's struggling with that change. Mm-hmm. And that's essentially all the movie's about, is them trying to navigate this culture shift. And that's all about. I don't want to spoil anything because not knowing makes is what makes the movie so good. I actually really liked it a lot. I don't think it's his best movie, but it was really funny. Like, it was really funny. I was laughing a lot. It has that, that witty, the Tarantino witty dialogue and,
Royale with cheese.
Yeah, more memorable lines and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I had a good time with it, and because I'm familiar with the Manson murders and stuff, that layered the movie with this sort of unnerving tension. Every time you saw the hippies, you're like, oh shit, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it has this underlying suspense, tension going through the whole movie, because he lived next door to Sharon Tate.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so that's coming, and because and then of course it's Margot Robbie.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell who that was on the poster.
Yeah, Margot Robbie plays Sharon Tate, and she is basically. But the movie's not about her.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about her. It's not even about the Manson murders. That's just the backdrop. That's just going on in the background. The movie's about Rick Dalton and Cliff, his stunt double. So that, and I think people, I've seen a lot of controversy about this. Of course, the Cannes Film Festival, when it was released, that one journalist, asked Quentin Tarantino at the press conference, why didn't Margot Robbie have any more lines? Mm-hmm. Why did she have such little dialogue in this movie?
Because the earlier things I was hearing about this movie, like when they were first making it, I was hearing that the movie was going to be about her, like she was going to be the main character. Yeah. I guess when he was like first drafts of the script.
Yeah, but she's not. She's a very small part in this movie. And so when this this female journalist confronted Tarantino at the Cannes Film Festival, like, why didn't you give Margot Robbie more things to do? Why is she in this movie so little? And he just said, I reject your hypothesis. And then it turned into how the internet blew up, outrage, Quentin Tarantino lashes out at feminist reporter for confronting him on his misogyny, it just blew up,
Wow.
And after seeing the movie, I'm like, I get what he was saying.
Right.
She is not the focus of the movie. Sharon Tate is just, okay.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm just saying, but that's his choice.
Yes.
That's the movie he wants to make.
Yeah. It's like asking Bob Ross, oh, how come you didn't paint any rainbows? You must hate gay people.
Right.
It's like, yeah, he's an artist, and this is the story he wanted to make, But it's like, and I keep seeing this throughout all this weekend. I keep seeing, it's time to cancel Tarantino for his treatment of women.
Oh my goodness!
It's time to, it's all this shit is like real. He's sex. His movies are sexist. It's got all this. His movies are full of violence towards women and all this shit. And I'm like, really? The guy who made Kill Bill,
right?
The guy who made Death Proof, the guy who made Jackie Brown is sexist,
right?
I'm like, holy shit, man. And it's just like, oh, it's like, and they totally missed the point of Sharon Tate's character. The movie's not about her.
Right.
But she's in it. She's just a metaphor. She's just a symbol of the time, of Hollywood, the glamour, the glitz, the fame, the indulgence of that Hollywood lifestyle of the 60s. That's all she's just there, sprinkled in as a reminder of the times. Just like the Manson family. They're sprinkled throughout just to show this is another counterculture that ended the hippie movement. You know what I mean? This culture that are clashing against each other and bringing about the end of this era in Hollywood. And that's essentially what the movie is trying to say. It's a comment on the changing of the times.
But people are missing that because they wanted to further their own narrative about what it's not even about.
Yeah. They're sitting there checking boxes. Oh, Sharon Tate or Margot Robbie had so much less dialogue than all the men. They're just, getting pissed off when there's nothing when they're missing the point of the movie.
Right.
And what I saw from this is just me, but what I saw is like, you're right. Tarantino's he only wants to make like one more movie because he knows the business is changing.
Right.
He doesn't, it's a known fact. He does not allow cell phones on his film sets. He doesn't want any of his crew on cell phones. He hates cell phones. So he knows this digital age is changing the movie industry. Cinema is a dying art.
And he's fighting that because he's not he's shooting like on, what is it, 35 millimeter or something?
Yeah, 70 mil. He shot The Hateful Eight on 70 millimeter.
Yeah, like nobody does that anymore.
Yeah, they don't even make those cameras anymore.
Right. So he's like the last one doing it. So he's like a dying breed in Hollywood.
Yeah, and he knows this. And I think this movie is him telling us that. Like, the times are changing in this digital age where people are watching YouTube videos on their cell phones. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to the movies anymore. You got Disney fucking buying up all the studios. Yeah. You want to know why Lion King is #1? Because there was I went to my movie theater. There's like 4 theaters with Lion King, and only one theater was showing Once Upon a Time.
Right. And Disney will do that. They'll make sure all the theaters are playing. Right.
Yeah, Spider-Man's in another couple. They still had Endgame. It's all Disney movies.
Right.
And Tarantino's one theater in the
and Endgame has been playing what, like 3-4 months now?
Yeah, trying to beat another property that they own.
Right.
He knows that this is another end of an era. And what's his last movie supposed to be? Star Trek.
Right.
Another franchise. So this is him trying to adjust with the times.
Right.
So I think this movie is just a love letter to an old art form, and he feels that an art form that he loved. I mean, this is pure cinema. Filmmaking.
I'm glad you brought it up. It was something else that came to my attention. Wasn't this movie supposed to be on Netflix?
I don't know.
Or it may be another movie I'm thinking about, but I'm thinking about it was like a big budget movie with a bunch of actors in it, and everybody thinking it was going to be in the theaters, but they were like, nah, we changed our mind. We're going to make it to go to Netflix because Disney is muscling out everybody. Mm-hmm. So if you want to make money, you got to go to a different platform.
I remember he was pissed off at over The Force Awakens because they fucked him out of the Cinerama or whatever, that theater in there's that big theater in LA.
Right.
He wanted to premiere The Hateful Eight at, but Disney wouldn't take, The Force Awakens out. And it had already been out a month or whatever.
Right, because they wanted
so
to make $2 billion or something,
Yeah, so I know there was that controversy. But, that's the thing is like, if you go listen to, my episode of Geek Sabs, we go on long lengths of, he's always, the press have always come down on him throughout the years for everything, for violence, for racism, for everything, and it's like, he's just an artist doing his thing.
And that's the thing, like Quentin Tarantino, even when he was young making these movies in the 90s, he was making throwback movies.
Yeah.
Like in the 90s, he was making throwback movies to the 70s. Like even back then, the movies he was making, people weren't making then.
Yeah.
So you fast forward 20 years from now, and we're in the woke era and the Me Too era, and you're like, he is a dying breed. You can say he's a dinosaur.
Yeah. And he knows it. He knows. He's like, yeah, I'm going to do one more movie because, people don't give a fuck about this shit anymore.
Right.
And for him to, and that's the thing, I think the movie itself is a statement. I think for him to make a movie like this, to make a almost 3-hour movie that's not about superheroes or fucking CGI or any of that shit, for him to make an old school type of movie now is a statement in itself.
But the fact that it's even #2 after Lion King is a statement also.
Yeah.
Like, he's still moving numbers. Like, he's one of the only directors. Like, I'm looking at the poster of Once Upon a Time in China, Hollywood. Only his name, I fucked it up, but only his name is on the poster. Like, and that's it. Not Leonardo DiCaprio, not Brad Pitt, who are big names. His name is on the poster. So he's selling this movie. Like, his name is selling this movie, who else can do that?
Yeah, he's probably the last director who can.
Right.
I mean, we talked about this. The movie stars are over.
Yeah.
And that's basically a theme in the movie. Like this, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, he's a movie star, and he's not selling like he used to. Mm-hmm. He's starting to play the bad guy.
That's now in real life.
Yeah,
he's a movie star that's not moving units like he used to.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit about Tom Cruise anymore.
Right. Unless they're in a franchise.
Unless it's Mission Impossible.
And even then, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah, and I mean, you can say, oh yeah, Jason Momoa sold Aquaman, but Jason Momoa's been in a bunch of movies that didn't make $1 billion.
Right, that no one cares about. Right.
Yeah, but you put him in a comic book movie, then yeah. You know?
And that's the thing. Like we hate to say it, and though we're a comic book podcast, but we have to call it what it is. People only go see movies that other people are seeing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. Everybody hates Lion King, but people are going to see it because everybody is seeing Lion King.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's the thing to do, you know.
Yeah. But other than that, it's a funny movie. I had a lot of fun in it. I laughed a lot. The ending is fucking nuts, and there's the Bruce Lee scene is one of my favorite movie moments of the year. So yeah, I recommend. But that's me. I'm an old school film fan. I like movies. I like how they're made. I like the picking them apart and analyzing. Right. I like comic books too, but right. I like that he can make a movie like this. That a movie like this still exists now, and I could see it on the IMAX like I did. You know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I dig it. I give it a 4 out of 5. Go check that out, and
like I said, it's Quentin Tarantino. I mean, like I said, you're not gonna get movies like this anymore. It's a reason he can still sell these movies like he can. It's interesting you saying that the movie is about the end of an era and how these movies start having a hard time transitioning. Because it was interesting because there was a few actors back then that could transition, like Clint Eastwood. He would pretty much carry the Western genre for a time. Then he moved on to Dirty Harry, became the vigilante, and then Charles Bronson the same way, was in westerns left and right, stuff like that. Transition to Death Wish, stuff like that. Harrison Ford was in like a bunch of westerns like Gunsmoke and stuff like that. And in Star Wars, he was basically playing a space cowboy.
Yeah,
that's all he was doing.
Yeah, and I'm not saying change is bad. That the culture shift was bad because that culture shift led to a cinematic revolution. That old studio system died in the 60s, and that led to Spielberg and George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola and Martin Scorsese. They had to reinvent Hollywood. You had these up-and-coming filmmakers who all of a sudden started making real innovative movies, and performances got realer. Actors got method. You had Brando and Robert De Niro. You got Meryl Streep, who can cry on cue. They're really digging deep into give you these real performances because of that. Because before that, you had these hammy westerns. The acting was very hammy and over the top.
It was the same plot over and over again. Somebody shot a horse or shot your family, and you get revenge. It was the same movie over and over again. Yeah,
so it's like, it's not saying that it's a bad thing that culture's change is bad. It's just there's that shift that old guard is dying out, and then the new guard takes over. And that cinematic revolution that happened in the 70s led to Tarantino. You know what I mean? Because Tarantino was influenced by Scorsese and, all those old, 70s movies and shit like that, So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just a tribute to an old dying art form, and he uses those aesthetics of that art form to make this movie,
So let me ask you this. I'm going to ask you a tough question now. Like I said, we're talking metaphor and, hidden agenda. Let's talk about the here and now. Let's talk about these superhero movies. Let's talk about comic book movies. I know we're a comic podcast, but let's shit on them for a second. So, do you think Hollywood can reinvent itself if the bubble ever bursts on superhero movies?
I mean, if they take chances, like Deadpool, if they can do that. Because Deadpool took the superhero genre and elevate. I feel like that elevated it,
But it was right. But I mean, right. It did elevate superhero genre. But eventually, we're gonna run out of shit. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like I started thinking about Phase 4 for a second. We were all up in roar about Phase 4, but let's think about Phase 4 for a second. We're excited over Shang-Chi, a kung fu dude.
Yeah.
Like really? We're excited about the Eternals. We never give a fuck about the Eternals.
Yeah.
So we're getting overhyped. And the reason I start saying it because I bought Captain Marvel this weekend.
Okay.
I bought it. So my Marvel cinematic list is complete. And I watched Captain Marvel again for the first time since I watched it in the theater. And you know what I thought? Like, man, this movie sucks. I'm like, it did. It sucked. But now, am I going to do like these comic skaters and YouTube and make a 2 or 3 hour long rant about how the movie sucked? Maybe, because they get hits. So, but the point I'm trying to make is, it started making me depressed because, okay, this movie sucked, but take away the Russos from Marvel. Like, we're in a Russo-less era now because the Russos are done with Marvel. Mm-hmm. So, do you think the bubble's gonna pop on Marvel now that the Russos are here? Are we gonna get nothing but Captain Marvels after this? Now that the Russos are gone?
I don't know. Like, I think, like, we talked about this. After now that, you know, Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, now that OG Avengers crew is no longer involved, I think they're not going to be making the billions like they used to. I think they'll be profitable, and, you know, and they can make movies cheaper, but, you know, they're not going to rake them in like they used to. You know, I think we're going to see the leveling, the plateau now. You know, and eventually I give it another 5-10 years. No one's going to give a shit.
But,
you know?
But the thing is now, these Marvel movies, they're popular because people feel like they have to see them. You know?
Yeah.
But what if they start getting to a point where people don't have to see them? So the movies might still be good. Movies might not still be entertaining and watchable. But what happens to the point where people feel like they aren't must-see entertainment anymore? Yeah. That's what's going to hurt.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't think people are going to be invested now that the OG crew is gone. You know, yeah, I mean, Captain Marvel did okay, but, you know, let's see. I mean, I think Black Panther still has some steam, but yeah, I mean, eventually it is going to, you know, it all comes down to the generation. You know, in 5 to 10 years, the millennials are going to be, you know, in their 30s and 40s, or what's my math? Don't ask me to. I might get myself in trouble for making estimates again.
Fuck those guys, man.
Anyways, once the millennials grow up, they're not gonna give a shit. They're gonna want to see anime. Then you'll see like anime movies making billions.
Oh yeah, a
you know
good Dragon Ball Z
the
movie.
Shit that they grew up. Yeah, you're gonna see like the iCarly, you know.
Yeah, they're gonna be like Captain America. My dad watched that shit. I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You know, you're gonna see SpongeBob, you know, the movie, you know.
But it's gonna be a gritty reboot.
Yeah, live action SpongeBob and shit.
Sex scenes and F-bombs and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, the culture's gonna change. It's gonna shift. You know, we're just living the nerds that inherited the earth right now. You know, we all grew up on the shit, and the shit in the 80s and 70s and 80s, and we're the demographic. We're right in the middle of that demographic right now. That's what we like.
That's true, because like I said, like all these comic book movies that are popular now, when we were kids, that's when they were selling the most they ever sold. Like X-Men #1 sold 8 million copies. Superman died and sold 7 million copies. So they were at their prime then. So technically, we're the prime demographic for these comic book movies right now.
And all those filmmakers, Jon Favreau, the Russo brothers, you know, all these, directors that are making all the Marvel movies, they grew up on Star Wars.
Right. And it wasn't like Tim Burton who didn't give a fuck about these movies and was just kept like the paycheck. These guys are fans, you know.
Yeah. So it's just So we're just in a this is the Marvel era, the Disney era. You know what I mean?
And they're gonna keep buying up everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I had a bunch of other shit I wanted to talk about, Eli, but I'm just pass by this shit, honestly. Because this is gonna make me even more depressed than this topic. Because it sounds like an interesting movie, but this topic just made me depressed.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like walking out of the theater and the ending. Like I don't want to spoil it, but there's like this bittersweet ending. Mm-hmm. And for me to I'm the analytical, artsy fartsy film cinephile or whatever you want to call that. I just that was really cool, but I think I know what he's saying. This is like the end of an era. What if this is Tarantino's last movie? Mm-hmm.
Because he's the last director that can pull a name by himself. I mean, honestly, Scorsese can't even pull numbers like this anymore, and he's awesome.
Yeah, and he makes all kinds of movies. He's known for like 3, but he made. He makes all kinds of movies. He makes documentaries. He know,
like Steven Spielberg can't move numbers like this anymore.
Yeah, Ready Player One didn't do shit. No one went and saw that.
But they put a name on thinking he's gonna do something like, nah.
Yeah, I mean, that was his attempt to like, yeah, look what I can do still, and no one gave a fuck, you know? Because it didn't have, yeah, because it wasn't a comic book flick or whatever, you know. What I mean? So yeah, so even he's, yeah, it's a dying breed, it's a dying art, you know.
But I agree with you. The culture is going to shift some kind of way, and we're going to get some new movies, stuff like that. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Just saying. Damn, where do we want to go next with this? Let's talk about something happy, man. You depressed the fuck out of me, man.
Wu-Tang?
Let's talk about Wu-Tang, man. Because I don't want to talk about any of that other bullshit I was going to talk about. Let's talk about Wu-Tang. Okay, you tell me about what's going on with Wu-Tang, because I kind of halfway know, but I really don't know.
Well, I saw this trailer. Like Hulu is making the Wu-Tang Clan story or biopic.
Okay.
On the Wu-Tang Clan. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know.
Okay.
I'll watch it. I like Wu-Tang.
Yeah, I mean, are they saying it's going to like a movie or like a miniseries or what?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Is it a movie or a miniseries? It doesn't say. It just said on Hulu, available on Hulu or whatever. In like
I would
August.
have preferred, and that's the thing. I would have preferred like a live act, a live movie, a theatrical movie for that. But they may be feeling the same way. It's not a superhero movie, so we can't do it.
Yeah,
we'll make more money putting on Hulu.
Yeah, because it was. Hey, I mean, it wasn't the greatest, but I had a good time seeing Straight Outta Compton in the theater.
Right, but that was saying that's how fast the movie industry has moved. Yeah, Straight Outta Compton did great then, but maybe it wouldn't do those same numbers now.
Yeah. I mean, shit. Wasn't there a Tupac movie that?
Oh, that movie fucking sucked, man.
Yeah, I didn't bother seeing it. But
So,
I would see a Wu-Tang movie, you know.
Yeah, I would see a Wu-Tang movie live in the theatrical version. But like I said, if it's a mini series where they can like really dive deep into it, maybe that'll be better for it.
Yeah, that would be cool. You can really get into characters like really.
I mean, because there was so many members, it's not like one guy, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 9 members and shit.
Right, you got to like really dive into it, find out where these guys came from. I've watched the behind the music on Wu-Tang. It's an interesting story, you know, especially the way they changed the music industry, changed hip hop, changed New York rap, all this stuff like that. It needs to be a movie, so it's very interesting on what they did. So I'm interested to see what they do with that.
To be from Staten Island, the forgotten borough of New York, and you know, and to just come out and to just because what they did, no one was doing at the time.
Right.
To no one was. Everyone was all doing that. The Black Power Afrocentric. Tribe Called Quest. All that. Queen Latifah was that.
That's what I meant to say. We need to do some house cleaning real quick. Okay.
Okay.
Last week you said PM Dawn.
PM Dawn, yeah.
There's no way it could have been PM Dawn. I think you meant to say De La Soul.
For that song you played was PM Dawn.
Right, I know. But when we were talking about songs that just mellow out to, hip hop songs mellow out to, I think you meant De La Soul, not PM Dawn. Because I still think PM Dawn fucking sucks.
Well, yeah. Or Tribe. Tribe
is awesome. And that's why when you said Tribe, I'm like, okay, if you say Tribe, you got to say De La Soul also. I'm thinking both of those, but whatever.
Yeah, they were from that whole. They were from that whole clique.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. They had a name.
Yeah, De La Soul, Fushnikins, that whole.
Leaders of the New School, Busta Rhymes,
all that shit, all that, but that they, that's what was coming up in New York at the time, and then Wu-Tang it was just beats and rhymes, no hooks or choruses, it was just beats and rhymes.
And it was funny because they were into like kung fu movies and stuff like that, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, well, that's what I latched onto. They were rhyming about comic books and kung fu and shit.
Yeah, like Method Man called himself, Johnny Blaze, the Ghost Rider.
Tony Stark.
You're like, okay, like what the hell? Their first video was Speed Racer. They rapping over anime. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like nobody was doing that shit at the time.
Yeah, and I just remember because I remember Izzy and Fat T, they're the hip hop fans. I was the metalhead, and I like some hip hop, but I remember them talking about the Wu-Tang Clan, and I got them mixed up with the Booyah Tribe.
Okay.
I was like, Wu-Tang Clan, ain't that those guys that play their own music? Because the Booyah Tribe, they were like a band. They were like the Roots, where they were like an actual band, but they had rappers and shit. They played their live music. So I'm thinking, Wu-Tang Clan, ain't that band? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh, man. And then I just remember coming home one night, and Fat T and Izzy were like in their room, and they were bumping the Seventh Chamber remix, or Seventh Chamber Part 2, which is the last song on 36 Chambers.
Right.
And that beat, that boom, 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 you know, I was like, what the hell is this? You know, good morning, Vietnam. I'm like, holy shit, what is this? This is Wu-Tang. I'm like, no shit. And that was like the hardest beat ever. Yep. And that was it. I was like, holy shit, man. And then
now, since we lost all our non-hip hop listeners, I want to bring this back for a second. I want to tie all this up together. Now, RZA, like I know you don't know who RZA is. RZA, like I said, creator of the Wu-Tang Clan, producer of the Wu-Tang Clan. He scored the musical soundtrack to Kill Bill Volume 1.
Yep.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, a bunch of movies also, but I know for a fact Kill Bill Volume 1. So we listen to the soundtrack, all the RZA, all Wu-Tang. So, because Wu-Tang love the babies. So, yeah, can we move past that?
Yeah.
I'm interested. I don't know when it's coming out, but I'm interested in seeing that. We'll go from there. Now, let's move on to the video game section. Let's get into it. Now, somebody called me up and told me that there was a Fortnite tournament today.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I don't watch.
Did you go?
I don't give a fuck about Fortnite, man. Now, one thing did interest me, though, that I think the winner won like $3 million. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what somebody told me.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's for these tournaments are like big things, you know, especially since Fortnite does like $1 billion a year, and it's a free fucking game. I don't even know what the fuck, where do you get the money from? But I don't know, but they got enough money to pay. I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm throwing $3 million out there. Somebody just called me and told me that because they assumed I'm into Fortnite. Cause you're nerdy. You like everything. Like, no, I don't like everything. Some shit I just ignore. Fortnite is one of those, you know. It's like Pokemon. Like, don't call me for no fucking Pokemon. I don't give a shit about that. I put Fortnite in that same category. I'm a fucking grown man. I pay bills. I don't give a shit about Fortnite. Let my little nephew and his friends play that shit. So don't call me about no fucking Fortnite. Now, that being said, let's move on to the fighting game tournament I'm excited for next week. So,
okay.
Eli, Evo.
Okay.
I know you don't give a shit about Evo, so let me break down Evo to you. Even though I don't give a shit about Fortnite, I give many fucks about fighting games. So what they do every year around this time, Las Vegas will host in Mandalay Bay this huge fighting game tournament where like all the fighting game tournaments are going to be there, and it happens next week. And I'm just going to give a rundown of the games that are going to be there. The number one game that's going to be there, like I said, it's all fighting games. It's a fighting game tournament. Number one game is going to be there is Smash Brothers. For some reason, that is the most popular fighting game on the planet right now. I don't know what the fuck it is.
That is weird.
But hey, love it.
That's just like Mario versus like.
That's exactly what it is.
Shit.
That's exactly what it is. So it's gonna be a bunch of like little kids in here playing that. So we're gonna get them out the way, and then we're gonna get to the real stuff. So Smash Brothers for the little kids first. Then we get to Street Fighter 5. That's my game, the one I play. If I was gonna jump into it, I'd get in there. Tekken 7, like I said, my religion. That's the next one. Samurai Showdown, old game, came back. Mortal Kombat 11 is going to be in there.
Yeah, my brother brought that up. That's fun.
Yeah, well, it's a new one, you know.
Yeah, he's got it, and we were playing it. It's fun.
Cool. I've been thinking about getting. I'll see that. Okay, Under Night in Birth. I don't know what the fuck that is. I might be fucking the name up, but who cares? That's the next one after Mortal Kombat 11. Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which is weird why it's so low because actually last year it was the top game.
Okay.
Now it's low. I'm thinking it's something to do with Namco, like the people that own the game. They don't want tournaments like running the game because they don't want the profits getting cut into it, something like that. So they haven't been advertising the game much. Want to. Matter of fact, it's almost like they pretty much like killed the game. But they're just doing it because it's still popular enough that they can still make it an Evo. Soul Calibur 6. I bought that game during the Steam sale that they had last month. Never installed it. Never played it. So that's the problem of being a PC gamer. You will buy games you will never play just because they're cheap. And Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. I think I might be saying it wrong, whatever. So those are the Evo games, the games that I want to be in there, not going to be in there. I want to get Injustice 2. Injustice 2 is dead, so can't play that. That's the way things are. Next week, I'll be doing I'll probably do a whole live broadcast about Evo. I'm going to do that. I didn't do it last year, but I'm going to do it this year. I'm gonna make a big thing about it. Okay.
This is on ESPN?
I don't think it's going to be on ESPN. It was on ESPN like 2 years ago. ESPN dropped it. I will check to see if ESPN will be on it again, you know, because I love people when people get pissed off about it. You know, I want to see some baseball. What the fuck these fat Asian nerds on here playing Tekken for? You know, I love those tweets. So hopefully that shit will happen again. Let me say, can we move on to the meat of the podcast?
Sure.
Okay, this is the part I wanted to get into. So for those listening to Comic Bullies, this is where we jump into when we talk about comic books. And we got a lot of stuff to go on today because a huge book dropped this week. And it's weird. It's an X-Men book. Yes, it's the 90s all over again. Lion King is #1 in the theaters, and we're talking about X-Men. And so
There you go.
yeah, so we're here. The name of the book is House of X. And Eli, for the love of God, I wish you had helped me read this book so you could help me break this book down because
I wouldn't have been any help.
Because
Who's that?
Jonathan Hickman went balls deep into this book.
Yeah.
I was just like ease it in, Jonathan Hickman. Just the first book. You know, let me break this book down. There's so much shit that happened, man. It was like a double-sized book too. Okay, so basically what happened is the book starts off with Charles Xavier. He's alive in this forest or whatever like that, and pod people are popping out of trees and stuff like that. Apparently it's mutants and stuff like that. They're popping out, and Charles Xavier is wearing Cerebro at all times. Like, he never takes Cerebro off. And while these mutants are busting out of these pods, crawling to him from this tree, he's saying, "To me, my X-Men." We don't know what the fuck's going on, but anyway, we cut on something else. So apparently, for the last 2 years, the mutants, the X-Men have all collected. So now every mutant on the planet is an X-Man now. They no longer fight each other. They're all united. They all live on this island called Krakoa. Krakoa has some deep X-Men history, which I'm not going to get into right now. I might break this shit down later on, but I'm not going to get into it right now. They all live on Krakoa. Krakoa is a mutant island they all live on. And the thing is, they've learned how to take plants and put them all over the world, on Mars, on the moon, and stuff like that. And every mutant can pass through this portal. Only mutants can pass through the portal. It can recognize if you're not a mutant or not. So if you're a mutant, you can travel and teleport anywhere from Mars to Krakoa on Earth. And Charles Xavier, you know, through Cerebro, he wants the mutants to be recognized as their own state, as their own nation. And he has a mutant conference with the UN, and he wants them to meet them at a certain place where they're going to take them. So they meet one of the Stephen Cuckoos, and the Stephen Cuckoos take them a place, and then they get introduced to Magneto. Magneto is their ambassador through Krakoa, or the areas that they're allowed to go to. So Magneto takes these ambassadors all through the place, and the ambassador's like, okay, yeah, this is cool, but when are we going to see Krakoa? I'm like, never. You'll never see Krakoa. No human is ever allowed to even look at Krakoa. That is mutant utopia right there. You're allowed to visit every other area: Atlantis, the Savage Land, Mars, the Moon. No Krakoa. You can't see that. So, but we get a chance to see Krakoa, and Krakoa is this utopia we accept. Wolverine is in the book for 1 page, and the only thing we see Wolverine doing is playing with some kids laughing. That's it. I'm like, that's weird for an X-Men book that Wolverine does nothing. You know. While we're doing all that, we cut to Damage Control. And Damage Control has Mystique, Toad, and Sabretooth breaking in, stealing intel because, you know, Tony Stark and Reed Richards run Damage Control. So they're stealing intel from them. They get out. They get caught by the Fantastic Four. Everybody happens to get loose except Sabretooth. Sabretooth get caught by the Invisible Woman, and they caught him. So before they can go out, Cyclops comes out of the portal because, you know, mutants can go wherever they want to. And he just has a nice conversation with the Fantastic Four. Hey, Reed, how you doing? Thing, you just got married. Mazel tov. Invisible Woman, you lost weight, you know, having good times. All something. Okay, now Sabretooth, let me get him back. And we were like, no, you can't have him back. He belongs to us because he was breaking into our facility. He was like, and Cyclops was like, Reed, you're a smart guy. You know what amnesty means. He was like, yeah, I know what amnesty means, but that doesn't mean you're getting him back. And Cyclops, okay, well, that's how you want to play it? And Reed's like, yeah, that's how I want to play it. Okay, you can have him. I'll leave. We'll go about this another channel, and I'll talk to somebody else, and we'll get Sabretooth back that way. And Sabretooth's like, what the fuck, Cyclops? Fuck you, you come get me. You know, it's like that. And then Cyclops just waves by to the Fantastic Four family. He was like, oh, and your son Franklin, when he's ready to embrace his mutant heritage, let him know. We'll get him the codes to record, and he can come live with us. You know, throwing shade at them because, you know, Franklin's the most powerful fucking mutant over there. Oh, also, Jonathan Hickman has a list of Omega mutants. Can I read the list out to you?
Do it.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull it up. I found this very interesting. I don't want to read this off the top of my head. Oh, shit. Did my Chromebook die? Fuck. Fuck, man. Okay, I can't read it to you. Anyway, let me go on with the list. Okay. Oh, it's back on. Cool, it didn't die. Okay. I love you, Chromebook. All right, where is my Omega? Well, let me continue on, and I'll read the Omega level list later on. So, by the sun, now here's the thing. The humans are fucking pissed because the mutants are becoming too powerful. The mutants have been recognized as a nation, recognized as a state. Professor X can enter anybody's mind anytime he wants to, talk to people anytime he feels like it. The mutants have their own language, have their own code, have their own portals. They can do whatever the fuck they want to. The mutants are multiplying at a rate. They're saying in 20 years, the mutants will outnumber humans on Earth. So the humans are pissed. So the humans are actually building sentinels by the sun over by Mercury because they don't want the mutants to know about what the fuck they're doing. They see an Omega Sentinel, and Shield, AIM, Strike, Alpha Flight, like members of them have all created one organization called Orcus, specifically made to deal with the mutants in case they get out of trouble. And what they're doing, they have a master mold over by the sun. And
does that stand for anything?
Probably. I don't. It's Hickman. I'm pretty sure it does. So, but they have a master mold, and master mold, like anybody read the old Stanley Jack Kirby X-Men comics, master mold is specifically made as an AI, specifically made to just crank out sentinels left and right. So they're building sentinels, but not like regular sentinels, Omega sentinels. So when the mutants get too up their ass, they're gonna fuck some shit up. But overall, really wasn't too much fighting in the book. That's pretty much it. And the last thing that happens is Magneto takes the ambassadors to Jerusalem. Like, he took them all over the place, and last place he took them to Jerusalem. And then he asked one of the Stepper Cuckoos, okay, what did we learn? And they pretty much read all the ambassadors' mind. Like, none of these guys are ambassadors. All of them are plants. They're fakes. Some of these guys are here because they want to hear what you got to say, and they do want to make trade with you, not for their countries, for their business, so they can make side deals with you. Some of these guys work for Orcus, and they're here just to spy on you. Oh, and some of these guys are here to see what kind of military weapons you have and stuff like that. Matter of fact, this guy's got a gun on him right now. So Magneto, I already knew about that. So Magneto flicks his finger. The gun just destroys itself just automatically. He was like, I didn't mean to, I wasn't going to shoot anybody. He was like, oh, I know you weren't. That's what Magneto said. Because now, look, I understand that you guys don't like me because I'm Magneto. But Charles Xavier is trying to show y'all some brotherly love. But let me make something very, very clear to you right now. I brought you all to Jerusalem for a very specific person because you humans, you understand symbolism. You understand religion. You understand what Jerusalem is. So make this clear. The mutants are your gods. And that's how the book ends. I'm like, okay, cool. So I like to, let me read off okay, I found my Omega list. Now, here's the thing I like about this book. Like I said, and I'm pretty sure some shit I left off in here, but Hickman is throwing so much stuff in here. He's planting seeds about what he's doing, and I like where he's going with this because he's establishing basically everything that we were scared the mutants would, well, not we were scared, but the humans were scared the mutants would do. They're doing it. And it's not just Magneto. All of them are on board. Cyclops, Professor X, Magneto, they're all on one page, and they're taking over the planet. They are becoming the dominant species, even though they're not. They're basically saying, you humans, we're giving you the planet. We're letting you have it. We're just taking our little small portion right here, but eventually we're going to eventually take over everything anyway, no matter what you do. And the humans know that. That's why they're building these Omega Sentinels. So, and basically and that's the thing, like Jonathan Hickman is doing something different than we've seen with the X-Men. The X-Men are no longer black people. The X-Men are no longer homosexuals. He's putting it, we're past that symbolism. We're past that metaphor. They're gods. They're religions. They're what we expect them to be. It's kind of like they're making like the Justice League of DC. They expect, but it's weird seeing Professor X being on board with all this shit. But I guess we're getting different characterizations of them. So let me give you the Omega level mutants they have. It ain't a whole bunch of them like we thought, like fuck Gambit, fuck Multiple Man and all that bullshit like that. Those are no longer Omega mutants. They have a specific list. So the list is some guy named Monarch, who's a reality warper. Iceman, of course. So my name Elixir, I don't know what it is. Jean Grey, Legion, Magneto, Proteus, who's also a reality warper, who I thought was dead, but maybe he's not dead. Mr. M, don't know what it is. Storm, Exodus, an old guy from the 90s. Kid Omega, he was in that Avengers West Coast book we were talking about, but that's neither here nor there. Franklin Richards, like we said before. Vulcan, who is one of Cyclops' sons, and Hope, who is Cable's daughter. So all those, just that list, that's it, the Omega level mutants. Anybody else says they're not Omega. So that's it. Overall, like I said, so much to pack on this book. Hickman and here's the thing, I read the book twice. I read the director's cut of the book. The first time I read the book, it was actually kind of confusing because Hickman doesn't give you all the details, but they have his script at the end of the book. So I read his script, and they actually gave more detail about what the hell was going on. Like, oh, what? I didn't have that shit explained in the story. That would have made it more fleshed out. So overall, like I said, Hickman is going to run. I know how Hickman is. Every book is going to be this dense, so you have to keep up with every single detail because when the payoff comes, it's going to hit hard and it's going to be some insane, crazy shit. That's how Hickman writes his book. And like I said, Hickman is on another level than what everybody else doing right now. Like every other comic book writer, the best they're trying to do is they're just writing a movie script. That's all they're doing. Because they know there's no money in comics. They're writing a movie script in a comic book form so they can sell it to movie or hoping Marvel or DC can make it a movie, something like that. Hickman's not doing this. Hickman is world building. Every single panel in there was like, Hickman is creating a whole new, like he's on some Tolkien shit right now. What he's doing with this stuff right now. In just this one book, you can see everything he's doing and the world he's building with this. We haven't even gotten to the other book he's doing, Powers of X. Now, anybody that hasn't read a Hickman book, I do want to let you know, do not skip on any Hickman book. It will bite you in the ass. You'll be fucked if you're trying to keep up with him. He did it with Avengers. He did it with Fantastic Four. You have to read all of his shit. You miss one book, you're fucked. So definitely read Powers of X to come out next week, and we will go from there. Like I said, it was a lot to unpack with this book, Eli. You can wake back up because I'm gonna let you take back over and you can do the next review. But overall, I'm gonna give the book a 4.5 out of 5. Read them, give 4.5 out of 5. I can't give it just a 5 out of 5 like every single body else doing, and I know for a fact Comic Cast doing it also. Reason I can't do that because Hickman, as much as he crammed into this book, his script was a lot more fleshed out, and those details could have been put into the main book also, where I didn't have to read this twice to really catch everything that was going on. So that's my thing. Yeah.
All right.
All I got.
Cool.
Damn, that was a long ass time.
Right. Yeah. You take a breather.
Nah, man.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go. I got Guardians of the Galaxy #7.
A book I had no idea
Donny
came
Cates,
out.
yo. Yeah. So Donny Cates, and I really wish you read this because you know me, I'm not so well versed in cosmic Marvel. Yeah. I don't know shit about space Marvel shit. So shit was happening in here. I'm like, oh, this might mean some shit to people who are familiar with this universe more than I am. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I was into it. But basically, is it the Church of Truth?
Oh yeah, the Universal Church of Truth. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you know who these motherfuckers are.
Oh yeah. They worship like the Magus. Like the evil version of Animal Warlock? Okay. Okay.
All right. So the Nova Corps, they stumble upon this big giant ass ship, this like flagship, like of the church. It's like this big giant temple.
Yeah, and it's powered by their faith.
Yeah. It's like this big giant church cathedral on top of a giant, like planet-sized ship. It looks just huge, you know. Mm-hmm. And they're basically like, you know, hey, you guys got to come out or whatever the fuck. And then this the leader comes out. I forget their name. Do they got a leader? I don't know. Someone in a cloak comes out.
They always get killed and like another person. Was it a chick?
I think so. Time. And they're just, and there's like, you know, you guys got to stand down, or we're gonna open fire or whatever. And she goes, have faith. and then the ship lights up. That big giant like rune symbol lights up on the ship, and basically, I think converts them all. Converts
them to the Church of Truth.
Yeah, it's like this big, all these like laser beam tentacles come out and start like wipes out the whole all the Nova Corps, and they start turning into, they start saying have faith and all that shit.
I do want to
like,
say
so
this,
like converting them
to make everybody put in perspective. Like the gold people in Guardians 2 were kind of based off the Universal Church of Truth. They weren't exactly them, but they were kind of based off them.
Yeah, and did they have a different name? What were they called?
I forgot the name. Sovereign.
Yeah.
They were called the Sovereign.
The Sovereign. Yeah,
but they were basically reminding me a whole lot of Universal Church of Truth.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of thinking. This reminded me of Guardians 2, but I couldn't remember. But so anyway, so after that happens, that's like the intro. We cut to the Guardians. They're on their ship, and then they get a transmission from Star-Lord's dad, Jason. Know him?
Yeah,
I don't know
leader of the Spartans and all that shit. Yeah.
Okay, so he's like, hey, we've intercepted a transmission from the Church of Truth, and blah blah blah, and then it just goes like the transmission like goes out, and like Star-Lord's like, oh shit, I gotta go get my dad. So they fly out. He has Lockjaw transport them onto the ship, and they're inside the cathedral, and they're all ready to throw down, and like, yo man, you gotta get, where's my dad? And the pastor or whatever, the leader goes, have faith, and then they get wiped out. They get like sucked in with all the laser beam tentacles, and they start, turning and shit.
Oh wow.
And and then basically the only ones who didn't get turned were was Groot and is it Moondragon? Who the fuck was that?
Moondragon. Okay.
Yeah, they're like the only ones who survived, and they're like, man, hey, I know,
Even Beta Ray Bill got taken.
Yeah, they all got fucked up and shit.
Damn.
Or the bald person. Who's this bald person?
Yeah, that's Moondragon.
I don't remember. I don't know these motherfuckers. Yeah, Moondragon. Yeah, okay, that's it.
Well, she's like the most powerful telepath in Marvel. So
yeah, she's like, we need your help. They're like her and Groot are sitting there. They're on a table. They're all like fucking bummed out. Like, we need your help. I know everybody on the squad hates you, but we need your help. And then turn the page, and it's fucking Rocket.
Okay. He looks normal, like regular Rocket.
No, he's all fucked up. He's got like the fucking what's that shit from the hospital? He's like all in bandages. And he's hooked up to an IV and all that shit.
The fuck?
And he's dragging it around. He's like, well, what do we have to lose?
But they never explain what happened to him.
No.
Okay, they'll save it for another issue, I guess.
So yeah, so it ends there. So pretty cool. Like I said, I'm not familiar with the universe, but it was still cool. I had a good time reading it, and I'm like, hey, okay, Rocket's back. So I give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay. I like the Universal Church of Truth. They're some cool bad guys. They have some potential. And so they always do some fucked up shit because they always worship like the evil Adam Warlock and shit like that. So if they show up, he's gonna show up eventually anyway. So cool story. My turn. Okay, so real quick, let's do Action Comics 1013. Yeah, 1013. So basically the book starts off, how did the book start off? Oh yeah, the book started off with the Queen Pen. Okay, so the Queen Pen is chilling in her house, and one of those Legion of Doom drones flies into her house. For those of them keeping up with the Year of the Villain, they got this drone that looks like Legion of Doom.
Who is that? Who is the lady in the cape or the cloak?
The lady.
Do we know yet?
Was it Black Lady?
No, she's in the Year of the Villain, and it's like it looks like Raven or whatever. Not Raven.
Okay.
She's like in this purple cloak with the hood and shit.
You're probably talking about Thorn. I think like Thorn is the main person in this book.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe
because she showed up in the New Detectives.
Okay.
And I'm not reading any of the other shit to know what's going on.
No, right. We might be talking about two different people, but I know Thorn is like the main person in this book. But yeah, so the Queen Pen is chilling in her house. This drone flies in there, and a hologram pops up of Lex Luthor. But Lex Luthor is looking like Emperor Palpatine. He's got like the hood on. He's got like some crazy gloves on, stuff like that. He's like, yeah, I've known about you the whole time, Queen Pen. Nothing goes on in my city without me knowing about it. But I want to make you a proposition. I want to offer you a gift. and she turns the gift away. She calls in her guards. Her guards come in, destroy the Legion of Doom hologram. You know, and she blows up her own house because she don't want Lex Luthor to find out where she is. You know, that's that part. We cut to the Daily Planet. Perry White is getting on his new reporter, Robinson Good. Now, Robinson Good basically is the new Lois Lane of the Daily Planet. She's taking Lois Lane dead. She's taking all Lois Lane's headlines, stuff like that. And Perry just don't trust her. He's like, okay, you're too good at this job. You're too good of a reporter. Like, how do you mean I'm too good a reporter? Because it usually take a reporter about a year to like start getting really good headlines because they have to learn the city. And this is Metropolis. Metropolis, you take about 2 or 3 years before you learn the city. You just walked in here already just cranking out headlines left and right. Something isn't right about you. You're like, what if I'm just good at my job? You don't question Clark Kent like that or Lois Lane like that. Like, that's them. I'm talking about you. Something isn't right about you. And then she basically says that she has a story about Leviathan. Like, how'd you get a story about Leviathan? Because that girl Thorne called her up saying she was looking for Lois Lane, couldn't find Lois Lane, so she found Robinson Good and was like, I know where like Leviathan tried to recruit me, Leviathan is trying to kill me, and I'm trying to get my story out there. So when Perry White hears that, he's like, okay, since you broke it down to me that way, you write the story, find out what's going on, and get back to me. She's like, okay, so that's that. Now, keep in mind, this is page 12 of the book, halfway through the book. Superman finally shows up. You know, he's just flying around doing Superman shit. He uses X-ray vision down there. He hears gunfire, uses X-ray vision, and he sees that girl Thorne just shooting at dudes because Leviathan has sent his assassins after her, and she's like shooting them off to get off there. So Superman just shows up, and of course everybody starts fighting because it's Superman. You know, Superman grabs one of the goons and like, who are you? Where'd you come from? Something like that. Like, and the goon is like shitting his pants, you know, because it's Superman. He's scared as fuck. He's like, Superman, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going to happen if you take my helmet off because they gave me the helmet. It might mess up something. Don't do it. And Superman just takes the helmet off. But the helmet has feedback or backfire to it. And what it does, it teleports Superman into New Delhi, India immediately. So Superman, like, what the fuck? So he flies back to Metropolis in about 5 seconds. By the time that the 5 seconds it takes him to get back there, Thorne and all the Leviathan goons, they disappeared and gone. Can't find them anywhere. So Clark Kent decides to write a story about that. He was like, okay, so maybe all these, you know, these secret organizations, maybe they weren't destroyed. Maybe they were teleported or moved somewhere. Maybe they still exist. And we need to write a story out and find out exactly what's going on with that, you know. So Robinson Good is on the story too, but she left for the day because, you know, she's a secret supervillain called the Red Mist, where she turns into smoke and shit like that. And in the middle of her interview with Perry, she was starting to smoke all of a sudden. I was like, her hand starts hurting and mist and shit like that. So she ran into the bathroom, and one of her coworkers saw smoke coming from the top of the bathroom and stuff like that. And all she said was, you know, if Perry catch you smoking in here, he's going to lose his shit, you know, stuff like that. So at the end of the book, she starts, you know, trying to control herself. She's like, I got to get control of myself, otherwise, you know, they might find out my secret. Then one of those Doom bots fly at her, and it's Lex Luthor again. And Lex Luthor's like, Robinson Good, I know who you are. I know your powers. I know you ties with the Queen Pen. Guess what? I can tell you exactly your origin, where you came from. And he shows some like red devil lady behind her and stuff like that. And then all it says at the bottom, next issue, Naomi. So remember that new chick Bendis made, the Riri Williams ripoff that's supposed to be original?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Naomi, we've been talking about. So apparently she's going to be in the next issue. So Bendis is going to really make her a thing.
Okay.
So that's all I got. I honestly, I lost track with Naomi, so I don't even know what Naomi can do or what is she or what, you know.
Well, I got number one still. So.
Number one what?
Naomi.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you did read Naomi. That's right.
I read the one.
Yeah, she's like a Black Lantern or something. I don't know where she is. So we'll find out.
I never stuck with it. But, yeah, I got number one just to check it out.
Bendis keeps saying that she's going to be a thing. Matter of fact, he was on late night TV 2 days ago with Seth Meyer. Was talking about that shit then. Like, he made,
really?
They asked him about Miles
Bendis
Morales.
was on a late night show?
Yeah. Yeah, NBC. Yeah, he was on a late night show. And so, yeah, he was on there talking about Miles Morales. I'm like, he was glad to see Spider-Verse, and one of his characters he created was up there. He was talking about all the stuff he's doing for DC, like he's working on Superman. They're giving them Legion of Superheroes, and he was talking about Naomi also. Like, I made this new character named Naomi. She's gonna be my next big thing. So he's really, really pushing her. So overall, this book I give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's a Superman book, but he didn't show up to like 13-ish pages later, where it's pretty much most of the book is just Perry Wright just cussing out his employees. So, yeah. Okay. I guess.
All right. Well, the only other book I got is Detective Comics 1008.
Okay.
And I guess it's a Year of the Villain tie-in, but I don't know. This is just a Joker story. It's just a really cool Joker story. Joker's took over the amusement park. He's got everybody strapped with these like collars that release Joker gas if they try to escape or whatever. And Batman just goes there and gets them and rescues the day. It's like a really just almost like a one shot of Joker versus Batman. It was really cool. But at the end, it shows it's back in the Pine Barrens. One of them little drones from Lex Luthor shows
the
up.
Legion of Doom drone. Yeah. Yeah,
that shows up to Mr. Freeze's lair, and it's like, hey, we need to do some shit. I'll basically bring your wife back to life if you help me and shit. And then he's like, oh, okay, and then that's it. So.
And was Lex Luthor wearing that Palpatine hood and all this?
Yeah, is that Lex Luthor then?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was a chick.
Yeah, that was Lex Luthor going around doing that bullshit. So
the purple hood and shit. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So that's okay. See, I didn't know who that was.
Okay. So yeah, he's just going around in every Year of the Villain book, just like recruiting people or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. So that was it. So this was just cool. This is Joker and the Batman back together again. Cool shit. The art is awesome. This book is dope. This detective. So I'll give it a 4 out of 5. The art. Who's doing art? Oh, Doug Mankey. Is that his name?
Yeah. He's a longtime Batman guy.
Yeah, and then Jamie Mendoza and on inks and Dave Barrett on the colors. So and of course Tomasi writing. So a lot of cool, really cool. 4 out of 5.
Okay, cool. All right. Last book I got is Valkyrie #1.
Okay.
So this is interesting. Like I said, this is straight out of the aftermath of War of the Realms. This was the big crossover they had. Jane Foster broke the ultimate Mjolnir, but the little piece of it got stuck to her and gave her Valkyrie powers or whatever. So basically, how the book starts off, this is the paint by numbers, step by step superhero origin book, or like a first issue of every superhero book. Basically, what happens is there's this bad guy robbing. Okay, the Water Realms, they have all these like Asgardian weapons laying around the city and shit like that. So Damage Control was taking the weapons back to Damage Control like that, and this bad guy named Blue Streak robs them. Basically, he's a superpower. He's a super dude. He's got like superpower roller skates like that. And one of his other jobs he decided to give the money to his other 4 friends, and they decided to make a team called the Fast Five or whatever. So they're robbing Damage Control. One of their trucks like that. Valkyrie shows up. She flies in and shit like that. And it's traditional. She sees the Fast Five. The Fast Five, throw a car at her. She catches the car. So out she got super strength. One of the guys go invisible, but she has Valkyrie vision where she can see her. She can form weapons out of nowhere. She's basically Hawk Girl. That's basically what she is. Let's not pretend what this is.
Now she's not fighting elves or anything.
No. Because they beat all those guys. So she's just fighting like regular ass superpowered dudes.
Okay.
But the reason she's here stopping these guys is because I don't know how familiar you are with Valkyrie, but Valkyrie has this sword called Dragon Fang. So Dragon Fang is on this Damage Control van that these guys are trying to steal. And one of the bad guys from Fast Five get the Dragon Fang, and while she's fighting these other dudes, he gets away. He gets away from her. And she never catches him. But it turns out when the dude's name is Goldmine, so Goldmine runs into an alleyway, and before he can get away, somebody trips him and takes the store from him and stabs him in the heart and kills him. And then whoever kills him, the assassin just walks off with the sword himself. So Jane Foster is with damage control. They doing cleanup. They're arresting the other guys like that. But she's late for her job. Her performance review for her job because she's back being a doctor again. And so she goes back to a performance review. The doctor, her boss, is pissed because she's late again. She's like, Jane, I'm sick of your shit. You're always late for work. You're late for your performance review. When you recover from cancer, but every time we tried to cure you from cancer and you kept missing the chemotherapy and we were paying for it, you're costing us too much money. I'm not gonna fire you, but I'm gonna transfer you. So she transferred to the morgue. She's like, I'm sick of you. Until you get your shit together, you work in the morgue. So she works with the other guy who just talks to himself all day because he's been stuck around dead people all day. He's like weird as fuck. Can't remember his name Montgomery or something like that. But anyway, he's working on a new case, and the body that he pulls out is the body she recognized as the supervillain named Goldmine. She's like, oh shit, I know who killed him. Obviously he was stabbed by Dragonfang, and somebody took Dragonfang from him. So I got to find out what happened to her. So Jane has a new power where she can go to Valhalla anytime she feels like it. She goes to Valhalla and talks to the old Valkyrie, Broomhilda, whatever like that. And they sit there and have a drink and stuff like that. And she asked for advice. She was like, well, why don't you talk to Heimdall, get him? Well, no, she tells him what Dragonfang can do. Like, I'm going to tell you all the powers it can do. First off, Dragonfang, if you're holding it, it hides you from all magic. So no kind of what magic, radar, and like that, you can't find them. Because Dragonfang hides you from that. Whatever level of swordsman you are, it enhances your ability of sword play. So you become this excellent swordman out of nowhere just from holding the sword by itself. And you get control of her horse. So whoever holds Dragonfang horse, that wicked Pegasus, whatever like that, you get it automatically. You automatically control it. So she's like, okay, so whatever assassin I'm dealing with has all this shit, like, man, this is gonna be hard. So she takes Heimdall with her. But she knows that Heimdall really can't, as long as whoever the assassin is holding Dragonfang, Heimdall can't find him. But Heimdall tells Jane, guess what, Jane, since you're a Valkyrie, you have more powers you didn't know about. You can see stuff I can't see. She's like, really? Yeah, just try it out. So apparently Valkyrie vision, since she's a Valkyrie and she takes people to Valhalla and carries the dead, stuff like that, she can see the lifespan of everybody on the planet. Like, she can look at somebody and tell when they're going to die. Like, for instance, she was looking at a hot dog stand, and the guy serving the hot dog to the hot dog guy, like the dude eating the hot dog had a short lifespan on him, but the guy selling the hot dog was okay, because he eating all his cholesterol, shit like that. Then Heimdall's like, see, Jane, I told you have these superpowers. So she looked back at Heimdall, and Heimdall got this big death symbol around him. So she like death is like 5 seconds away from you. Like, oh shit, Heimdall move. He's like, and then as soon as he say anything, bam, he gets stabbed by Dragonfang. And then she finds out who the assassin is. The assassin is Bullseye riding a Pegasus. And she's like, oh shit, well, I can't see no death sign. And Jane just thinks to herself, I can't see no death sign over at Bullseye's head. And then she pulls out her sword, at least not yet. To be continued. And that's the book. So pretty much a standard run-of-the-mill, paint by numbers superhero book. Your bad guys show up. You show the powers. You show the secret identity. You show the supporting cast. You show the cliffhanger at the end. It's standard, I will say this: the art was pretty awesome in that one. It was a pretty fun read. Comics haters hate this book, because they're saying Marvel is still being woke. How is Marvel being woke with this? How are people pissed off about this? She's no longer replacing a man. She's replacing a woman. So how is this woke? How is this SJW? It's like people just want to be pissed just to be pissed.
Yeah, it's getting really exhausting.
And plus, I went on the Twitter comments and Facebook comments. Every comment on the Valkyrie #1 page is people bitching about Jane Foster, Natalie Portman. That's all they care about, Natalie Portman being Thor. You make her Thor, I'm not watching the movie. They don't give a fuck about the comic. They're just pissed about Natalie Portman. So, overall, personally, I'm going to give the book a 4 out of 5. I do want to read the next issue. I want to see what Bullseye riding a Pegasus does with fighting Jane Foster. That sounds interesting to me. So, and like I said, Jason Aaron, he delivers. I mean, he does. You can say what you want to about the character, what he does with Jane Foster, but he delivers on book. I thought War of the Realms was going to be like a shit book. It was actually pretty fun. You know, what it was. So, yeah, that's all I got. Shoot, you got anything else?
Nah, I'm good.
Cool. Okay. Like I said, that's all the books we got. The podcast didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. I had some other topics I want to talk to, but we kind of got depressing after a while, so I just let it just go went with the flow. No. Definitely listen to our other podcasts. We have Geek Savs. Listen to Comic Cast. I know they talking about House of X also. I'm curious to see what they have to say about it, how they break the story down. Gomer is a big X-Men fan, so I want to see what he got to say about this. Definitely go listen to who else we got? Hulu TV. Valiant dropped a new episode. And this Geeks and Comics, they may or may not have dropped something. I don't know what the hell they're doing right now. Next week, I am going to talk, me personally, I'm going to talk about Evo. Eli is going to sit back and smoke a cigarette, probably fix a sandwich, may take a shit during the podcast while I'm doing all this.
I might watch the rest of The Boys, because I watched episode 1.
We didn't talk about The Boys.
Like, oh, damn. Yeah.
We're going to talk
but
about
next week.
Next week.
I only watched one episode.
I may watch The Boys too and add something to the conversation. You know, yeah. I don't want to feel left out. He's just talking. We go from there.
I will say episode 1 was like, whoa, holy shit. You know,
okay.
It was some crazy shit. I'm like,
okay.
My interest. You got me. You got me. I will watch the second episode, and if that.
And next week is gonna be the last episode of Swamp Thing, man. That's gonna be fucked up.
Oh yeah.
And the last episode of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. for the week, but I'll talk about all this shit later on.
Okay.
Yeah, until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
And we'll talk to you next week. Same bullet time, same bullet channel.
Tiger style.
Tiger style. Yo. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. There's no place to hide once I step inside the room. Dr. Doom, prepare for the boom. Bam! Oh man! Slam! Damn! I scream like Tarzan. I be tossing and forcing. My style is awesome. I'm causing more family food than Richard Dawson. And the survey said you're dead. Baby flying guillotine chops off your fucking head. Mister, who is that? Hey yo, the who is back? Making niggas go boom boom like I'm Super Cat. Me fear no one. Oh no, here come the Wu-Tang Shogun. Killer to the eardrum. Put the needle to the groove, I get screwed and I'm forced to fuck it up. My style carries like a pickup truck. Cross the clear blue yonder. See the China Sea, I slam tracks like quarterback sacks from LT. Now I try and test the rebel INS. Blessed since the birth, I earth slam the best. Cause I bake the cake, then take the cake and eat it too with my crew while we head state to state. And if you want beef, then bring the ruckus. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Straight from the motherfucking slums that's busted. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Step up, boy. Represent. Chop his head off, kid.
The map will come out tomorrow. Now get busy, bizarro, flows with more afro than Rollo. Coming to a fork in the road, which way to go? Just follow. Method's the legend, niggas is Sleepy Hollow. In fact, I'm a hard act to follow. I dope for Dolo, Bogart coming on through. Niggas is like, oh my God, not you. Yes, I come to get a slice of the pumpkin, the pie. Rather do than die. Check my flavor, coming from the rhythm with the show for the razor. Who make me reminisce true like deja vu? I'm rubber, niggas it's like glue. Whatever you say, bro, so me sticks to you.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. 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 Yeah, representing Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, Manhattan Park, the rugged lands of Shaolin. Niggas from Virginia, Atlanta, our boys in Ohio, coming through with the crazy wyo. Yo, niggas from the source, my man Kelly Wu from the Gavin, Real Strickland, Jason Slayton, yeah, true. My nigga Travis going down, boy. We ain't nothing to fuck with. The whole Texas mob, the Chicago mob, niggas from Detroit, fucking California squadron, coming through, know what I'm saying? The whole fucking West Coast, to the whole East, niggas from DC, down to Maryland, all the way over there Morgan State. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. All over the whole fucking globe, coming through, boy. Peace to the fucking Zulu Nation. Peace to all the gods and the earth. Where it is born, Wu-Tang slang, chopping heads, boy. It ain't